this is the entire history of Worlds, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year again. It is Worlds time, baby. Let's go. So naturally, with this year's Worlds just around the corner, I thought it'd be a perfect time to go through all of the madness that's taken us from 2011 to this year's Worlds all the way in 2022. So without further ado, get on your rose-colored glasses as we dive into the brief history of Worlds. Our story begins in 2011 at DreamHack, which is a gaming event that Riot partnered with to host the first ever League of Legends World Championship. And though some argue it wasn't technically the first Worlds ever, I mean they literally didn't have the Summoners Cup, I would still count it just because it was the first international tournament that basically was treated as the World Championship. Top teams from around the globe competed in regional tournaments, and ultimately 8 teams ended up at the finals, 3 from North America, 3 from Europe, and only 2 from Asia. Wow, these were really different times. And though the gameplay and venue were much smaller than they are today, still 1.6 million people tuned in to watch this event, which proved that this esports definitely had a future ahead of itself. And ultimately, it would be Europe's Fnatic winning over their European rival against all authority. And after Fnatic claimed their $50,000 from the prize pool, the first World Championship came to a close. And you know, after doing so well in this first Worlds, I'm sure that Europe will win all these future competitions at least for a while, right?
How unfortunate. Uh-oh, how unfortunate. I'm gonna do a sneaky thing and throw a new contender in the ring.
Welcome everyone to Season 2's World Championships, where we have a trophy, arenas, and more than a 2 months notice that this thing is going to happen. This time around there were 12 teams instead of 8 from last year, but the West was still poised to take home the title. 2 teams that were met with especially high expectations were Russia's Moscow 5 and... wow, CLG, yeah, it's been a minute since I've heard that one, man. But much to the surprise of Western fans, the East came ready to fight. Some noteworthy contenders included Najin Blacksword and the unexpectedly strong Taipei Assassins. The Assassins would go on to beat Najin Blacksword and then follow that up with a victory over Moscow 5, and that would take place the same round that CLG was also taken out of competition. And unsurprisingly, the Taipei Assassins would go on to win the finals 3-1 over the team of Zubu Frost, becoming the first team to hoist the Summoners Cup and also receive their own world skins. Funnily enough, 4 out of the 5 champions that Taipei Assassins chose for their skins, yeah, they were reworked, and they've had to change the splash art 3 times since then. And yes, even by looking at the giant screen behind them, Zubu Frost still could not find a way to win the tournament. When it came time for preparation for World Season 3, things were a little different this time around. While in previous Worlds, teams had played in a variety of venues beforehand as a matter for qualification, this year Riot decided to take things into their own hands. The NA-LCS and EU-LCS were both founded under Riot Games, and China, Korea, as well as Southeast Asia all had their own leagues as well that were partnered with other companies to run them. And as things began to ramp up into 2013's World Championship, there was really only one thing to say.
All aboard the Korean hype train, SK Telecom G1 for the championship. Hands down, I've got my tickets here. I got tickets to the Korean hype train, and I will be giving them out. It's your last chance. First class still available.
With the Royal Club smashing their competition and SKT T1 entering Worlds for the first time ever, fans had a lot to be excited about. You know, as if a little up and rising star named Faker wasn't enough. And after Royal Club took down Fnatic and SKT took down Najin Blacksword, the 2 teams met in the finals, where to put it bluntly, it wasn't very close.
SK Telecom are just rolling through. The Nexus turrets are potentially going to go down. This could be a 20-minute game for SK Telecom. They will be the Season 3 World Champions here at the Staples Center.
In 2014, Worlds would be headed to the East for the first time. It would also allow 16 teams to enter into the competition. And all eyes were on Samsung White and Samsung Blue to dominate the competition. After these 2 Korean teams took out both of North America's representatives, shocking I know, they would go on to face each other in the quarterfinals. And despite Samsung Blue coming in as pretty clear favorites, they would actually be 3-0 swept by Samsung White. And after beating Starhorn Royal Club in the finals, Samsung White would become the 4th ever world champions. But wait, where was SKT and Faker? Well, they were comfortable sitting at home watching the games. Yeah, they didn't actually make Worlds that year. Now, Worlds 2015 is infamous for one major thing: the Juggernaut patch. Something about dropping a major patch like this right before Worlds on paper doesn't seem like a good idea, but in practice, yeah, it still wasn't a very good idea.
Tower behind them for safety. Now they're sieging mid, so they're using triple pressure on all the lanes.
Oh, be careful. Here's the jump in. It's a two-man ult. He catches balls. Sneaky's out. There's a turret alive, though. They got to be careful. A big knockback, and that's the kill into Morgana. Azir goes down as well, but the dunks are coming through. A double kill for Balls. A triple kill for Balls. Holy cow. They're all gone. Kill for Balls. Holy cow. That's why he's been picking Darius. Cloud9 at 3 members alive.
But besides that, it felt very reminiscent of previous Worlds tournaments. Korea dominated the tournament with SKT, KT Rolster, and the KOO Tigers, and as for North America, they didn't make it out of groups. Insert obligatory near airport joke here. And after ultimately rolling the competition, SKT would go 3-1 in the finals against the KOO Tigers, becoming the first and still only team to ever have won 2 World Championships. I feel like it had something to do with Faker's somersault buff. After a somewhat disastrous previous Worlds, North America would host the tournament again in 2016 and the prize pool would be doubled to $5 million. And amazing news for North American fans, we managed to get a team out of groups. Yay! And even though Cloud9 would ultimately be knocked out the following round, at least Western teams could cheer for H2K in their insane run to the semifinals. But after cleaning up the West in just 6 games, Samsung Galaxy would knock out H2K and advance very comfortably into the finals. And as for the other semifinals, the ROX Tigers would face off against SKT in a series that many people consider to be the greatest series of all time. And I actually have a fully dedicated video to just that series alone so you can understand it more, and I'll link it after this video if you're boring. But in short, SKT would move on to face Samsung Galaxy in the finals and defeat them, claiming their 3rd ever World Championship. 2017 was the year of the dragon. Well, actually it was the year of the rooster, but it's the year that had the dragon. And also the Ardent Sensor meta. Yeah. Regardless, Worlds had come to China for the first time ever, and with it, it brought a play-in stage that allowed the tournament to expand to 24 teams. SKT was looking to win a 3rd straight title in a row, however their series leading up to the finals had been really close overall. And as for Samsung Galaxy on the other hand, they just tore through their entire bracket. They really wanted revenge on SKT from their Worlds finals last year, and the result?
The upset is complete as the kills come through. The SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new kings, Samsung Galaxy, your 2017 World Champions.
SKT got ripped apart in a clean sweep by Samsung Galaxy, creating the iconic image of Faker crying, which we see in thumbnails basically every other day. So by this point, the World's narrative might be sounding like it's getting a little bit repetitive. So for 2018, let's mix things up a bit. First off, SKT didn't even make it to Worlds, like at all. And what's even crazier is that no Korean teams even made it out of the quarterfinals. And yes, this is the same league that's been literally curb stomping their competition for a better part of the last decade. Cloud9 and Fnatic would face off in the World semifinals, meaning that for the first time since DreamHack all the way back in 2011, a Western team would be locked to face off a team in the finals. And after Fnatic ended Cloud9's Worlds run, they would face off against Chinese team Invictus Gaming in the World Championships. 2 regions that had never won a title before were now the only 2 that remained. And having clearly seen a few tips from Samsung Galaxy the year before, IG would sweep Fnatic, claiming a 3-0 Worlds title, and the first for China. And of course, I have to show what I consider to be one of the most intense Worlds moments of all time, and all I can say was that it was a base race.
Your game-ending push one way or the other. It's KT going for the base. It's going to be a base race. Nexus turret number 1, taking down to half HP. KT looking to end it right here, right now. Ning taken down to half. It's Shy versus Snap at the base at the same time. Bottom's going to be taken very low. Yukao barely going to be kept alive. Score taken down to 1 corner. Smeth's nearly going to be killed now as well. Def taken so low. The Blade is not able to find him. Def goes in a killing spree. It's the Shy still in the base. It's KT looking to try to stand and fight if they can. The Shy has made his way onto the inhibitor turret, onto the Nexus turret. They're going to be taken down. KT still marching. It's a base race. The Shy's on the blue Nexus. KT's on the red. Who's gonna win? The Shy will not. And KT takes it to game 4. Holy crap!
So now we're coming up to 2019, and for the first time in a while, World is headed back to Europe. Even more fitting, reigning MSI champions G2 Esports, a team which I of course have no bias towards, was looking poised to give Europe their first Worlds title since all the way back in 2011. And with Korea's flop the previous year, it seemed that anything was on the table to celebrate League's 10th anniversary. SKT would make their return to Worlds this year, but would ultimately be knocked off by G2 Super Team in the semifinals, allowing Europe to once again advance to the World Championship. On the other side of the bracket, reigning champions IG were actually knocked off by Team FunPlus Phoenix, allowing China to once again advance to the World Finals as well. And like the two previous years, FPX would clean sweep Europe on home turf, winning 3-0 and claiming 2019's World Championship. Now we enter 2020, which originally was supposed to be a traveling tournament, but a little 5-letter word that ends with 19 kind of stopped that. But we did get a cool little arena with some really neat CGI that definitely worked 100% of the time. China would once again prove their dominance on the world stage, and funnily enough, FPX wasn't even in the tournament this time around. As unexpected upstarts Suning would roll over JDG as well as top esports from China, they would move on to face Korean team Damwon headed into the finals. And after 2 years of championship drought, Damwon managed to take home the trophy for Korea, winning 3-1 in the finals and only dropping a total of 3 games throughout the entire tournament. Alright, we are finally here. Worlds 2021. After the group stage, Korea managed to have half the teams remaining in the tournament, with T1 beating Cloud9 and former champions Damwon smashing the Mad Lions. And headed into the semifinals, it was 3 Korean teams versus the 1 Chinese team, EDG. And after EDG would get a 3-2 victory over Genji and T1 would fall to Damwon Gaming, the finals were set. And ultimately, in a close 3-2 bout, EDG would beat Damwon, taking back the title for China and being our reigning world champions. Thank you so much for listening to just this brief overview of Worlds history, and if you want me to make one on MSI as well, let me know and maybe you'll get one in the future. Obviously, I couldn't break down every single game and every single detail that happened in Worlds because, there's just a few of those. But if you did enjoy, consider a subscription to the channel. If you like the content, maybe you want to see some more of it. Or you don't have to, it's completely up to you. Regardless, thank you so much again for watching this video that took me way too long to put together. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day / night, and I will catch you all in the next video. Later!